Hey, it's Hump Day, people. We're back, and you're on MMA Fight Pass, and I just went brain frayed right now. HAMMERFIST podcast live.
What's the name of it? It's the
live
HAMMERFIST
from Selma, Spike and Rail. We got. I still call him the Project Man. I remember he was the Project, and this guy.
It's okay. You call me the Project.
Man. He's all right. Mr. 559 Fights, and then we got his boy. I remember when we used to call him Little Pun, man. Back in the day, man. He's growing up.
I wouldn't call him that now.
No, I would say anything. That's a yo. But anyways, in the house, one of the most highly decorated prep wrestlers there is. We just grace ourselves and and honored to have him here with us. Selma's own Jace Luchau, man. Guys, welcome to the show. Let's get busy.
Let's do it. Got all kinds of cool stuff going on right now. Got all kinds of stuff coming up right now. Let's start, Jeremy, because I know you got a big event coming up.
Yeah, let's go ahead and touch on that.
There's lots of big events coming up.
But the one that I'm looking,
he's actually. I watched a little bit of the show yesterday. Unfortunately, old Dave, man, his poor Wi-Fi. The guy who tries so dang hard, man. Props to you out there, Dave. Yeah. And he was kind of cut low, but I got a little part of it. There's some action coming. A lot of people didn't know.
I mean, obviously, first and foremost, HAMMERFIST Fights, their amateur series is next week, and like I mentioned before, I'm blessed to be able to, not in an official capacity, help them in any way, but in an unofficial way, we have a good friendship, and so I want to make sure that everyone knows to go out there next week on a Friday. It's going to be another great event. A lot of we've shared a lot of talent, Richard and I, over the years. So a lot of the guys that you've seen fight at 559 Fights will be fighting for them in this amateur series. Hopefully, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those guys get some pro contracts. You know what I mean? Whatever they deem necessary, and they get to move on to the pro rank. So it's really awesome from a 559 Fights standpoint. To see the guys kind of graduate and progress and move on in the sport.
It's kind of cool because I remember back in the day, when the guys were getting pushed up to the next level, the opportunity to the UFC, and everyone would say, hey, the road to the UFC is through Tachi.
Yeah.
And now...
the road to Tachi's to the 559 Fights.
There you go, man. I mean, you got to say it because it is kind of in a way, they still are doing an amateur fight, but if they do good and they're blessed to have an active...
Yeah, I mean, and even before that, before they were doing amateurs, they had to, I think I counted one time, it was like 15 or 20 guys from 559 Fights that have gone on and fought and fought there. So, I mean, in essence, it's again, and that's what we talked about last time. That's what it was designed for, was to build guys for Tachi specifically. And Richard and I have a great relationship, and we're able to bounce ideas off of each other. You know what I mean? He helps me a lot with 559 Fights as far as ideas or guys that hey, I really want to see this guy test himself against this guy. You know what I mean? It's no different than what's going on in the UFC when Sean Shelby and those guys are expressing to some other promotions, like what matchups they want to see or how they want to see certain individuals get tested and stuff like that. We're in just constant communication. And
he even actually made mention of it a couple of weeks back when he was on the show, saying that he has Zion Big Al. And has already made some issues definitely. That. So that's awesome.
That's awesome. So, make sure you guys. I always hear people complaining a lot about the local MMA scene and stuff like that, but unless you're buying tickets for the fights, I just don't really like to listen to it too much. So,
how could you complain, man? Yeah. I mean, we didn't have anything before.
So it's like I really hope people purchase tickets, go out there, support Tachi. You know what I mean? That's next week, and then September 22nd.
Is that the Harley Davidson?
September 22nd will be the Harley Davidson show.
That's the one I'm pumped on right there.
Yeah. And so just so you guys know, it's not the downtown Harley Davidson. It's the Harley Davidson that's out on Shaw. It has the big parking lot.
Yeah.
So it's a much larger facility. They're gonna clear out the indoor area there, so that we have like a bar lounge area and some food vendors.
Is this the first time doing it like this?
Yes. First time doing it there. It's gonna be a process. You know what I mean? Every venue that we go to is different, unique. We learn some things. We we get better. I mean, so I mean, I expect some tweaks after the first one that we do there, obviously, but doing numerous outdoor shows that I've done, I kind of know some tricks and stuff to make it comfortable for everybody, and we'll start a little later in the evenings. Just some stuff, I'll keep the cage covered and cool and stuff like that. So just tricks that we've learned over the years. But yeah, it should be a really exciting event. I think as of now, I have 17 bout agreements signed. So as long as nobody is hurt, and
You have 12.
As long as half of them,
have 12.
as long as half of them don't drop off the week of,
or the morning of going to the emergency room,
worse.
you know what I mean? Like,
or a flat tire.
yeah. It happens, and
It does
we
happen.
talked about last time, we were going to have guys sign bout agreements to make things more official and have guys, be held more accountable. I think we had four or five pullouts 2 weeks to the week of that were like, in Camel's eyes, not acceptable reasons to have been pulled out of a fight, and so they suspended those 5 athletes.
So Camo, the organization, they're on top. They're kind of on top of that whole deal too, huh? They're
Yeah, they're
keeping
the
an eye on it?
sanctioning. They're the
Yeah.
sanctioning, but I can't suspend anyone. They're a sanctioning body. You know what I mean? All I could do is say, hey, I have the signed bout agreement from this person. They didn't fulfill their obligation on the contract. There it is, and then Camel goes to those people and, hey, why didn't you do this or whatever? And
I always wonder what you
suspended.
what you promoters do when you're getting close to a card. Do you have guys like on backup? Like you tell them, like, hey man, be ready, just in case someone falls off. There's going to be a spot right there.
No.
Is it difficult to do?
And Richard and I were just talking about
Because I
that.
know you have to.
Richard
deal
and I
with
were
that
just
all the
talking about
time.
this today. Like, the turnover in amateur is so much. It's like the backups get hurt, sometimes. So really, you're just the card is just constantly evolving, and you're constantly making adjustments and changes and switches to make it the best fight
Does
card.
it seem like there's always a guy ready to step up when you got a guy fall off?
Sometimes there's some go-to guys, you know what I mean? That are some go-to gyms, that have
Yeah.
a bunch of guys that are willing to kind of fill in and
They're
stuff.
always ready to jump in there and do it.
Yeah. Sometimes there is, but again, like amateurs, it's very difficult. There's no pay for amateurs. That you can't. There's not a whole lot that you can give somebody to entice them to compete, other than that they want to get better. You know what I mean? So it's really on the onus on the fighter on what their motives are for competing. So the September show should be pretty good.
So Big Al, is that a main event for that show?
Yeah, Big Al's gonna fight for the Camo state title.
Props to Big Al.
Yeah, against
I like that
Tony Charles, who's fought for me a couple times, and Tony's a guy that's been around the amateur circuit for a long time, so he's kind of put his time in, and he's very deserving of a title fight. And then Nate Garcia will defend his 559 fights 45-pound championship against Wilton Ziegler from Bakersfield.
All right.
We just got Isaiah Hughes signed his bout agreement. He's going to be fighting Carl Mitchell in a 170 bout. There's a lot of great.
That's gonna be a good card.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of good fights. I think we're gonna have 2 girl fights on the card. Everyone likes the girl fights, so it's gonna be a nice little event in a new venue, for us. And I'm really excited about it. And then the following week, LFA, Legacy Fighting Alliance, will be coming to Fresno, and they'll be doing a show at Selland Arena that following week. So they're finalizing the card and some matchups now. But from what I've seen, kind of being the local promoter, or not promoter, but the local guy that's kind of helping them with stuff. Yeah, I don't know what the proper term is, but local partner, I guess. It looks like a great card, and I know a lot. Expect, like, again, some 559 fight faces, veterans, some faces to be on there, some former Tachi guys, a mixture of some veterans that have been in the area for a while, going to be on there. It should be a fun event.
Is that an amateur or pro event?
Pro event? Yeah,
Okay.
it'll be all pro. Yeah, they'll be on TV, on Access TV. Yeah.
right.
I got word that one of our crews is going to be participating on that card, Paul Alessandro, which
right.
125 or
Yeah.
5595, so
Yeah.
that would make his pro debut on the
Yeah.
card.
yeah, so it's exciting, you know. I'm hoping that, you know, again, like we spoke about with Tachi, you know, these people that want the local MMA to continue to build and stuff like that, they all come out and support the show.
Yeah, you
buy
got to,
tickets,
man.
buy some tickets, because shows there's reasons why, like, they came to Visalia, it didn't really sell the best, you know what I mean, and so they didn't come back for 2 years, you know what I mean. Now they're gonna try Fresno, so. You know, if it doesn't sell well and doesn't do well, I wouldn't expect them to come back, and then we'll be back in the same situation, wondering why we don't have pro MMA in the Valley as much as we'd like. So, but they're committed to putting on some great shows, and they want to come back to the Valley. You know, I've talked to them extensively about doing some stuff, so it should be pretty exciting, man. They do a really good job.
Solid. I've had a chance to go down in Southern California and watch a couple of them down there. And all I'm asking for people out there that complain so damn much, put that same energy and support that show.
Yeah.
Seriously.
You know, you do that, then shit, we got more shows coming.
Yeah, and the tickets are going to be really reasonably priced too. You know, I know that I don't know what the set number they decided on, but when I saw it, I was like, oh yeah, that's perfect for the Valley. Like, it's a good ticket price. I know a lot of people could afford to go to my show and then to their show, to Tachi, to my show, to that. They're all really affordable, and you know, it's gonna be great, man. I'm really excited for that show, and then I'm really excited for Tachi in November to, you know, to see all those guys that have won contracts these last 2 shows for them, you know, go on. So I mean, it's to the end of the year. It's gonna be exciting. I mean, I'll have 4 more shows, but you know what I mean. It's exciting for all these
awesome
events that are popping off.
You know, and you know, a lot of times, you know, people, obviously we're in a depressed market because where we live, but I know there's grown men out there that sit on their ass all day eating, playing Fortnite, and I guarantee you they spend more than $35 or $40 or whatever it is just eating their
Am I looking
crap,
at a mirror right now?
playing in front of that thing.
Dipping,
You know?
dipping deep fried Twinkies in mayonnaise.
or whatever. But I mean, I have a grandson that's into that, and that's how I know, because I'm always helping them get paid a little bit more stuff on there. But I'm just saying, so I kind of get an idea. But if a grown man's out there doing, obviously you got to pay electric, Wi-Fi, and your ass is sitting on that probably game chair, whatever the hell they
there's
call
a lot.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
And you could be buying a ticket if you're into that stuff.
Yeah, so it's gonna be some exciting fights.
And if you've never,
people should take advantage. That's all I'm saying.
if you've never competed in any kind of combat sport, like, you have no idea what these guys go through, like the
Other
training,
than Fortnite.
the mentality and the training these guys go through. Like, the low price of the ticket is well worth it.
Yeah,
very well worth it.
It is, and you're right there. It's nothing like feeling the atmosphere of the fights live. You see it on TV, and you know, you see these parties that people have, and they get pumped up and on
Couch
TV.
coaches.
But when you're there in person, it's like electrified probably 10 times.
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny you say that. It brings back a memory of the very first time I ever saw MMA in person. I covered a WEC event in Lemoore, and Razor Rob McCullough was fighting. And it's a lot of you old school people probably know, but you new school people have no idea what I'm talking about.
They have no idea about those days.
But I don't know if you guys remember the time he fought Olaf.
Yep.
Oh, that was a war.
And then I was like, oh my God.
Dude.
Did that guy's mouthpiece just get shot like a cannon outside of the cage?
Yes, it did.
I was like, I've never seen
Along with
anyone.
DNA.
I've never seen anyone get hit that hard in my life, like like real life. I'm sitting cage side, like.
Yeah.
So it was scary enough first time being cage side watching this. I'm like, oh my God, these people are really like. And then to see this guy's mouthpiece shoot like six rows, and I was like, but the sound, I just remember the sound, and it sounded like a hammer against a steak, and I was like, that's just the worst, you know. And I was like, and I remember talking to Christian afterwards, and I was like, Christian, you really want me to do this project thing? Like, did you just see what happened?
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not letting that happen to me. You know what I mean? I'm not fighting that guy. You know what I mean?
No.
He was like, no, don't worry. We like match everybody properly and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm like, man,
Hey, what about when Olaf fought John Pulaski?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
good
yeah.
Lord.
We fought him twice.
Yeah, twice.
But
I was gonna
remember
say which
those
time.
First time I was there,
Dude,
but
I never seen nothing like it.
oh, you never
at the
did?
time.
It was in the tent, dude.
No, I was there, but at the
That
time, I
night-
had never seen a fight like
Dude,
that with two
that
guys
night,
going at it like that.
That was 2004. I had 100 shirts we threw out that night, man. We were sponsored by Outcast Bike Gear. And who was it? God. I was right there cage side. Sitting next to me was Quadros sitting next to me. Then after that,
Quadros?
yeah, and then Randy Couture came up. Everybody had blood on these shirts. I had a pile of them. Randy goes, "Hey, can I have one of those shirts?" I go, "Hell yeah, dude, autograph that sucker." And Quadros too. He goes, "We're blood brothers tonight." But that was brutal, man. That whole card was. I mean, you had Lieben and you had Swick going on, and then you had.
Yeah, people have no idea about those old school
Oh,
cards.
That's crazy.
dude,
You should
man.
just like go. You can see them all on Fight Pass now.
Yeah, yeah.
But you know, you should go back and watch some of those. some of
Joe
that-
Hurley and Nick Diaz, remember being cage side when he
Yeah.
broke Joe Hurley's arm?
Yeah, so you go back and watch some of those that old footage. But yeah, man, it's a real exciting time. There's a lot of great fights coming up. I'm super pumped for
I didn't
everything.
ask you last time you were on here because I remember when I first saw you, you were working with the show and you were doing different things, and then all of a sudden they did that thing where they wanted you to fight in there. Or whose idea was that? Was that your
It
idea?
was Christian's idea, man.
This was from the
He-
get-go,
What
really.
was
yeah,
the deal with
that was. He just he literally called the newspaper and was just, we started talking about covering MMA because it wasn't mainstream at the time, and no one in no newspapers was going to these events and doing anything. So I mean, that's how our conversations first started, and then he was just like, "Hey man, I have this idea. Like, what do you think about you writing a column and you just train and write about the column, and then you fighting?" And I'm like, "Bro, I've never wrestled. I've never done any karate. I never did any jiu-jitsu, kickboxing, nothing." And he's like, "Perfect." And I'm like, "What do you mean perfect,
Perfect.
bro?"
You're ready.
I don't know if you know, like if you guys
Oh,
know
yeah.
Christian, but that was exactly. He was perfect. This is gonna be wonderful.
he really
I was like,
is.
"It's not gonna be wonderful, man." I was like, "Look," let me try it out a little bit, and let's just start with me like training and see how it goes. He's like, "Nah, man. If we're gonna do it, you have to fight. You know what I mean? We'll put it in. You'll fight in the WEC and
Yeah, they
this,
set it up good.
that was when the WC was still there, and so I was like, fine, So I met with Jacob, and Jacob was the first person that was like, "Hey, come train with the Team of Cho guys." You know what I mean? I know you're training in a Valley Fight Club, but we're more of a fight gym. You know what I mean? Come
That's
train.
a boot camp.
Yeah, come train with some of us. You know what I mean? And they were training out of there too at the time.
And
then,
you
and
trained
so-
with Speedy too, right? A little bit
Yep,
for that
yep.
one?
I trained with so many different people. I trained with Richard Batten for a while. I just cross trained, and I wrestled with the Lemoore kids, the Lemoore High kids at the time. Alex Perez and Nick Sierra and a bunch of those guys were helping me try to learn how to wrestle. I mean, I don't know. he laughs, you know what I mean?
How old were you when this happened? Do you remember it? Like what? Do you
Yeah, I
remember
remember it.
What were you thinking, bud, when you seen your pup get in there?
I was like little, I didn't really know what was going on. I was just running around the gyms and just messing around with everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I remember like.
So how old do you think you were when that was?
He was really
like
little,
5,
4 or
6,
5. Yeah, he was super little.
Wow.
And I'd bring him to the gym, and he'd just wreck the gym all up, and run around with hot Cheetos all over his
Heck
shirt and
yeah,
stuff.
that's what you do when you're that age.
Yeah,
Him
but I
and
mean,
Poppy's.
it was all Christian's idea. I can't take any credit for it whatsoever.
That was awesome, man.
And then the WC.
That really did something for you, though. Like in my eyes, man. I don't know. Give me just a whole different respect for you because, there's not so many people that would be. There's a lot of people that want to be in this business and be on the side and do the radio thing and this and that. But to
Yeah.
actually get in there and see what you have to go through to do it.
Yeah, and I mean, I went through a bunch of crap during that time, as far as this is a setup, you know what I mean? Like, he's not fighting anyone tough, and I'm like, bro.
Well, that was a real fight.
But I was like, bro, I'm not tough. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what are you guys not understanding about this? I'm literally a journalist at
Going
the time.
into the
You know what I
unknown.
mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, and
test,
everyone
man.
was like, I'm like, bro, I'm fighting a guy who's been training, the opponent changed, remember? It was
Yeah.
one guy who was like 1-1 or something like that I was fighting it. And then it changed to a different kid that I had actually trained with before, and he had been doing kickboxing for he had some kickboxing fights, and he had been doing kickboxing for like 2 years before I had
Yeah, you've
even
been training.
done anything. And then, you know, I just remember he punched me in the head, and I was like, oh shit, like, nah, let me just try to take this guy down. And I probably shot the worst shot on the planet, but somehow I took the guy down, and you know what I mean. I was able to take his back, and I thought at that time, like, I'm never doing this again. I broke my hand.
Was that the only one that you did?
No, I did 2 more.
Oh,
I broke my hand from punching. And I was like, man, I don't want to do this. Like, my hand is broken now. You know what I mean? And I remember I didn't know anything about anything, so like I just let it be broke for like 2 or 3 weeks. You know, and
right. You can
I went
see
to
it
the
now, still jacked up.
I went to the doctor, and I was like, yeah, something's not right. It's like the swelling is not going down. They're like, yeah, you have a boxer's fracture.
Hell yeah,
and I was
that's
like,
not gonna go
I was
back to
like, and they're like, yeah, it's already healing, so we can't fix it for you unless you want us to break your hand again. I'm like, nah, just let it go, you know.
Crazy.
Yeah. So then I fought again, and as Jace likes to say, I got my ass choked out. This is number one thing to talk bad to me about.
That happened. I'm sitting right there, and I have that pic, but I never posted that
Send
picture
that to me.
of that. But the picture I did take and post was him throwing his mouthpiece, hit Roy Walker in the face. Roy's like, "Fuck, I'm a buddy." That was classic.
Yeah, I mean,
he never forgot.
It was tough, man. I was
That guy.
I was fighting a guy with some experience.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he was older. You know what I mean?
He's like
it was my
especially-
first taste of like some grown man strength a little bit. You know what I mean? Because I was still kind of a youngster at the time, and I was really sick that week. Really, I got really sick. I had a cold. I couldn't breathe, and I mean, I don't think I would have made it through the first round if they weren't 3-minute rounds. But they were those 3-minute rounds.
Yeah, and
I was
a
just,
ring.
It was a ring, and it was outside, and it was hot.
Yeah.
You know, so it was like, man. But I mean, no excuses. It was a great learning experience for me, as I wrote about in the columns. You know, I learned, and I did one more fight after that, and I won a decision, and then after that, you know, I was just like, you know, I think the kids, you know, that's when my daughter had come to live with me full time, and I had Jace, and I was just like, man, like,
Gotta slow down.
I was like, I was training double what everyone else was training because I didn't know anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was actually spending my whole day like doing MMA related activities. You know what I mean? Trying to figure out how to do it. So I just didn't have the time to do it, and so I stopped, and you know, I just continued with the journalism stuff. And then Christian asked me if I wanted to get involved there at the casino, and that's kind of how I got involved there at the casino doing stuff there.
It's funny because I think it was last year or something like that. Jeremy stepped up, and my daughter and other nurses from Korea, after she just graduated and became an RN, my youngest daughter, and when I first started this, she was like my co-editor. She used to write just as a little kid, and then she got into karate and did start doing all her deal. Went real far advanced, but so she knew about it. Met Jennifer Allencorn, became real friends, friends with Layla Ali and all them, and still corresponds with them. And they all wanted to go something different. I think it was last year for her birthday actually. I wanted to get a table or something and just send them there, and they said, "Dad, is there any fights coming up?" And I told her about it. And she had never been to Jeremy's fights. I go, "It's Jeremy, man, from Tachi." And then, so she goes, "Well, you didn't get it." And then he was going to be out of town, so we try to work something up. But he set something up. Her and her girlfriends went, and she goes, "Dad, that's the project." She goes, "Is that amateur?" She goes, "That was awesome. I couldn't tell."
Yeah.
So that is a test, and she's not just a girl that's never been around it.
She grew up around it.
Yeah, she grew up around it, so she knows. So that right there, from someone that had the opportunity, that was her first show. I wasn't sitting there. I wasn't covering the show. I was somewhere else, but she did, and that was her opinion. Everybody at work was talking about all Korea. They still ask now, you know. And
Get them out to the shows.
yeah, I think they do.
Everyone just give them all my number, and I'll make sure they we'll make sure
because they were just talking about. She just had her anniversary, her 2-year anniversary, wedding anniversary yesterday, and they were talking about something to do, and I said I thought about it, but I said, well, you know, we'll see, because there's some stuff's coming up. But no, dude, and like I told you, I appreciate it, and I couldn't believe it, and that's why I brought that story up right now. That was a testament to that, of anybody going to his shows that hadn't been there, go there, make your own opinion of it, honest opinion, and then go ahead and try to criticize after. You know?
Yes, sir. All right, well, we got another special guest here that I want to get into. This is Jace. This is Jeremy's son here, nicknamed Cute Face. Tell by the handsome guy.
Self-proclaimed.
Hey, he's a straight dime piece. Too many accolades to mention here, but let's go through some of this real quick because these are some of your accomplishments in wrestling. 2017 Cadet Greco Nationals, you got sixth place in that?
Yes.
Okay. 2017 Cadet Freestyle Nationals, 3rd place. These are no joke right here. 2017 2nd place at the Cadet Folk Style Nationals in Iowa. That, I know that is no joke. 2018 4th place CIF California State Championships. 2018 2nd place WTT Greco Akron. What's that? What's the WTT?
It's World Team Trials.
Okay, World Team Trials.
Yeah.
Then again, 2018 3rd place WTT Freestyle Akron. So you're like freestyle and Greco? You doing both?
Yeah, I do all 3.
Okay, and then we go up here and we got 2018 5th place Junior Freestyle Nationals in Fargo, and 2018 7th place Greco-Roman Nationals in Fargo. Now Fargo, what's up with that? Big one?
It's pretty big. It's the biggest one of the year. Like, I don't know, man. It's crazy if you had to like really experience it. Just kids everywhere from every state. Like, your state gets, so they have like the dorms.
Yeah.
And your own state gets a whole dorm thing to itself because that's how many kids are going. So like,
What's it take to get in that? You get state champion?
just your little state events that they have. So like you place top 3, the top 4, they let you go. I mean, sometimes you could petition in, or some guys just don't have the money to go. It's an expensive trip. So I mean, it's a good deal though. Like a lot of good guys get to go out there. And then so California's real good about it. Like if you don't have money, they try to help you out as good as you can. They try to get the best guys out there.
Nice. And so what age were you when you started wrestling?
Probably when this guy started fighting, honestly, because like I said, he was probably going in the room to practice wrestling, and I was probably in there.
Is that where you kind of seen it when you were cruising around these gyms watching your dad train?
He kind of like, he was like, I was a football guy. I love football, and so like
He's still a football guy.
Yeah, well, I mean, so like he was just like, hey, you want to try wrestling? And I was just like a little kid. I was like, yeah, I'll try it. I just ended up liking it, and just fell in love with it. I mean, like I wasn't good, but like I feel like I was like really strong. I was a strong little kid, so I was like just bullying everybody around, and then.
And with your dad knowing all these connections and being able to go to all these gyms and stuff, so was that giving you different looks, like traveling around and going to these different schools, or were you staying under certain coaches?
I just stayed with certain coaches. Just Alex Perez is like one of them, like my coaches.
Just Alex Perez, no biggie.
Yeah.
So Alex Perez was one of your first coaches in wrestling?
Yeah, like a lot of other guys. Coach Olson. Man, I can't really remember a lot of other coaches' names.
Coach Olson from Clove?
From Lemoore.
Oh, from Lemoore, yeah.
I mean, as a dad, as a father, you kind of guide your kids, like you try to steer them down a certain path. You know what I mean? And I think I did choose wrestling early on because I was like, he's gonna be a short little Mexican kid. You know what I mean? You know, neither me or his mom was very tall or super athletic, and you know, from being in the newspaper and watching kids, you know, Chad Mendez, Steve Juarez, like a lot of those kids, a lot of those Lemoore kids, like.
And you're friends with those guys growing up, kind of?
No. I reported them. I was a news reporter.
Okay, that's
so
how you
I
met
watched
those
them.
guys.
I watched them compete,
Okay.
and I was like, you know, I was like, man, this is a sport like that.
You could have a chance
That I
to-
thought he could have it.
yeah.
Like, yeah, I was like, you know, this would be awesome. You know, he can get his college paid for by doing this. You know, and then. You know, he was a lot of fun to watch when he was little, but like he said, he wasn't very good. You know what I mean? So then I was like, man, let's just let him stick with football. You know what I mean? He likes it, but
Yeah, one time I quit wrestling. I was just like, I don't know about this, man. And then I was playing football, and I just like, Dad, I gotta go back to practice, man. I gotta go back. Like, it's just.
You got the drive to go back to wrestling?
Yeah, like I quit for a while. I was just like, it's not for me. Like I'm not winning a whole lot. Like I didn't feel like I was at the time. And then like I just missed it. I was like, wrestling was fun, and then just went back to wrestling. And then I remember one time I was at this tournament, and I wrestled this kid named Robert Ariano from Selma, and he beat me up bad. Like Like I've never been beat up like that ever. And then my stepmom at the time, she was like, we're going to Selma. You're getting better. And I was just like, all right. And then we started going to summer practices.
So that kid that beat you, were you able to now get in the room with him and work with him?
Oh yeah, he just left the college. He went to Central Iowa.
Did he become a good training partner for you?
Oh yeah, I mean I got a lot bigger than him.
Or was there always like that kind of, you know what I mean? That little in-house.
Kind of gauge yourself.
Yeah, just everybody, man. Like everybody wrestled with everybody. It wasn't like just
Yeah.
he was my training partner. Like I got like a little wrestling room by Market, like just like sides like a hallway, man.
Wall to wall?
Like the mat, like it was so small, like you couldn't fit a whole mat. Like the mat would go out, and then the mats would go on the wall
Those are some
too.
of the best places.
Yeah, and like I just remember I would do the beginners practice, and then afterwards my dad would make me do the advanced practice too. And so like I was getting double practice in.
With adults?
No, like
Really
just with the
kids?
advanced kids, like
Yeah.
Robert and like Luis Ramos, Hammer, and all those guys.
That's
and
what
they
makes you real good right
just
there.
beat me up so bad. I was crying, and I was like, Dad, I don't want to go back. He's like, No, we're going. Ended up moving out here.
Now
and
that
then-
right there, we'll pause for a second right there, because I can't tell you how many, being a teacher in jiu-jitsu and seeing kids, man, get to a high level, and then all of a sudden they go, I want to quit, and the parent just goes, go ahead and do
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
You know what I
that's-
mean? Like, that's huge right there, man. Because look where you're at right now.
Mhm.
Imagine if you hadn't made you keep doing it.
Exactly. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'd probably be playing football. I mean, I don't know what I would be doing.
You might have a dislocated
playing
knee or
basketball. I don't know. Something
Now-
around there.
You're getting ready for, explain this to me. What is it called?
It's called,
Wrestling at Who's Number One in
yeah.
October?
Yeah, it's,
Showcase of the best kids around. Can
Yep.
you break that down for us?
So who's number one? It's October 7th. It's a tournament. You don't necessarily have to be number one or number two in the nation, but they pick it, Willie, just kind of based on if he thinks you deserve it, or usually if you're number one, you're gonna go. But it's basically the best guys in the nation wrestling each other, see who's gonna be the number one guy in the nation. So I have Andrew Alvarez from Colorado. That's number one right now. And I'll be wrestling him.
So you already got, the brackets are up?
It's just one
it's
match.
It's not a bracket. It's actually like a fight card in
It's
a
like
way.
a super fight.
Yeah, So what they did was they created some of these kids in wrestling. In high school, I mean, there's so many high schools in so many states, and there's rules. Certain states, they don't allow their kids to go to certain tournaments, or they're not allowed to wrestle out. So sometimes you don't get to see those big matchups. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right.
And so, Flow Wrestling has become super huge, and they created this thing some years back. It's called Who's Number One, and basically what he was doing was he was taking the then number one kid in the country and having him wrestle either like the number two or the number three kid in the country to actually see who was the number one kid going into the season. So it's like it's an invite thing, and all these kids, it's actually prompted kids to wrestle more in the off season and freestyle and World Team Trials and Fargo and some of these tournaments, because now all these kids are like, yeah, they want to win these tournaments,
Yeah.
but they're also trying to gain leverage to get to wrestle at this event. It's like it's a super huge event, and they do a show and they announce, we're gonna have this guy wrestle this guy, and normally tournaments, like, they go in order, and then this
Yeah.
one they don't go in order. They actually put like a fight card together. Like the matches people most want to see will be at the top of the card. type
Now,
of
will it
situation.
be, now if you win that match, will you move on to another round? Is it a tournament, or is that?
Nope,
It's just
it's
one
it.
match.
It's one match.
Okay, oh, I like that.
Yeah. It's
So
one.
what would it mean for you to win this thing?
Man, it'd be crazy because like I just remember.
Is it gonna open some doors up?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean,
There's gotta be a lot of scouts out there, I'd imagine.
oh yeah, definitely. Like
You're a
every
senior
college
right
you can
now?
imagine. Yeah, senior.
Okay, you're a senior, so You probably already got a lot of people looking
Everybody's
at you.
letter of intents are on fire right
Yeah,
now.
I'm talking to a lot of colleges, a lot of coaches and
Have
stuff
they
like
been
that.
contacting you and getting a hold of you?
Yeah, for sure.
That's so awesome, man.
Letters, take trips.
Oh, yeah,
That's
I
the-
got a
that's
couple,
it.
got a couple trips
Arizona
lined
State,
up.
man. Sun Devil.
That's
alumni.
impressive, bro. I'm really proud of you, man.
Thank you.
How old are you?
17.
Dude, when I was 17, I was climbing on top of buildings and spray paint. Dude, no, I'm serious. Like, I'm proud of you, man. That's
Thank
awesome,
you.
bro. That's really something else.
Yeah,
The Valley's got some talent, man. The
Yeah,
Valley
for
has some
sure.
serious talent.
for sure.
Blows me away, man. It really blows me away. Did we
I
get
don't
a
know.
break?
No.
We're all good?
Oh no, I don't know if I don't know if Coach Pepe ever came on the show with some of the other Summer coaches or not, but he posted a really cool picture on Twitter the other day, and it was like way back, an old picture of like the youth team,
Yeah.
and it was when Jaden Abbas
Oh, wow.
was on the youth team, and he's now down at Rancho Bernardo, but he's also going to Who's Number One, and then Jace's teammate Richard Figueroa is going to Who's Number One. So it's like there's 3 kids from California that are going to Who's Number One.
Is that
and
rare?
all 3 kids have one thing in common, and it's wrestling from Selma.
awesome, man.
You know what I mean? So
Awesome. All 3 from California are wrestling out of Selma?
well,
Two-
Ja-
two of
Jaden,
us.
Jaden is,
We're on that youth team.
we're up there.
on
They're
the
all
start.
part of the youth program.
Wow,
Yeah.
man.
So
That says-
it's
That's a lot right there.
it's pretty neat, you know. And then it was.
Has the Abbas family been a big part of Selma wrestling?
I mean, yeah. I mean, they've been around the valley forever. You know what I mean? And Jaden obviously wrestled for them when he was a little tight. You know what I mean? But it's just crazy the kind of the tie. You know what I mean? You know, and even Jaden said technically, yeah, you're right. You know what I mean? We all 3 are really are Selma kids. You know what I mean? So it's been. I think it's as a dad. You know what I mean? Things that it's been pretty cool to see how far Jace has really come, and that's like Flow Wrestling has really been talking about, and Willie, the guy who has picked him on it, has really been talking about. You know, the real story about Jace is that, you know, a year ago, no one in their right mind would have ever thought that he would be wrestling for the number 1 spot in the nation. You know what I mean?
What about you in your mind, though? Honestly.
Honestly, I didn't think so either. Like I knew I
It's
was
okay
like,
to say.
I knew I was getting better. Like I didn't even think I was in the place at Fargo that year. Like,
Was there a certain point, though, where along these tournaments where it clicked to you, where you go, you know what, man, I think I can do this?
Like my coach Jeff Estrada, he was like he's kind of really crazy, but he's really crazy. He's like, watch, one day you're gonna be number 1. Like just keep telling me you're gonna be number 1. Just keep at it, keep training hard. You're gonna be number 1 one day. And like we just trained really hard. And then like when I placed at Fargo that one year, I was like, dang, like man, I wasn't able to place at state, like nothing. Like I don't place in all these national tournaments. Like what's going on, you know? And we just kept at it. Like he kept telling me. And like when I got invited, he was like, I told you you're gonna be number 1 one day. I told you.
Good
It was
coach.
like 1 match away.
What was
Yep.
his name?
Jeff Estrada.
Props
From
to you, Jeff
Colorado.
Estrada, from
He actually
Colorado.
he just moved out here to California. So,
Awesome, man.
yeah.
So he's probably hella stoked.
No, for sure, man. He's ecstatic.
Now, when does this go down, this big tournament?
It's October 7th. Yeah, and it's
So
at.
you guys all set to head on over?
Yeah, we'll be there a week before, right?
Yeah.
'Cause you had to do a lot of stuff.
It's in Colorado?
No, it's
No,
in
no, it's in,
it's at
it's in,
Lehigh.
yeah, it's in Pennsylvania, at Lehigh
That's in
University.
Pennsylvania. All right.
Yeah.
Is that something that's going to be online, like Flow
Yeah, it'll be
Grappling?
on, exactly. So if you have a Flow Grappling account,
Like what, $10?
you just go.
So
yeah,
Flow
just
Grappling
Wrestling.
covers jiu-jitsu and wrestling and all that stuff?
No, you just go to Flow Wrestling instead of Flow Grappling.
Ah,
yeah,
okay.
they have different.
Okay.
They have Flow everything actually. They have Flow
Alright.
marching, which is like marching bands.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
crazy. They have Flow
Yeah.
gymnastics, Flow basketball,
Yeah.
Flow
Big-
football, Flow baseball.
Don't give me
Wow.
stuff.
Yeah,
That's pretty cool.
So yeah, it'll be on there.
Actually, you guys have some kind, like a fundraiser going to help out, contribute some?
Yeah, I mean,
Go ahead and talk
yeah.
about that.
I mean, we got.
What
we
about
have-
those shirts that you were talking
Yeah,
about?
yeah. So we're selling some T-shirts.
You didn't bring any today that we could show? They were awesome.
No, I didn't bring any, but
Are you
yeah,
going to have them at the fights by any chance?
I don't know if we're gonna have them at the fights, but we're gonna be doing something at the fights for the boys.
Okay.
So yeah, so we're trying to raise some money for Jason and Richard to bring their coaches out, because they cover the athlete to fly out there, but they don't cover the coaches to come out there. So you know, we're raising some money for some coaches to get out there, and obviously, you know, wrestling is a real intimate sport. So like the coaches that coach Richard are not the same coaches that coach Jace. So like, you know, each of them want their set guys to go with them. So we're just raising some funds right now to get those guys out there and selling some T-shirts. They're $25. You know what I mean?
Support these kids, man. Support their journey and bless them along that journey and be part of it, man. That's what it takes, And these guys, they're amateur kids, they're youth. What positive way to support the youth, man? This is our future.
And if you guys haven't watched Richard Figueroa wrestle yet,
Yeah,
I've seen some videos.
it's amazing.
he's insane.
Crazy.
So is that one of your partners?
Oh no, he's way too small. I'm a 52-pounder. He's a 6-pounder. He's tiny, like well, yeah.
But he's amazing, man.
Yeah, he's
He's
crazy.
a beast, though, huh?
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's crazy, man.
He'll be one of those kids that's talked about in California for a long, long time. He's a special.
I can see him being a 4-timer for sure, no doubt.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So
Want to pay a bill
we're
real
gonna-
quick?
Yeah, let's pay
Go
some
ahead,
bills
pay
real
a
quick.
bill. You're listening to MMA Fight Pass, the Hammer Fist podcast on MMA Fight Pass. I got it right. We'll be back right after this.
He just choked me out the other night.
Welcome back to the Hammer Fist podcast live here at Spike and Rail here in Selma, California. We got the project Jeremy Luchau, his boy Jace, the most. Let me see. How did I want to do it? Well, I was sounding too.
Cutest
Funny.
face, most decorated wrestler
No, I
out of
want to
Selma.
get. I'll save that for another show. But one of the most highly prep amateur wrestlers in our area, and in California, and actually in the country. Here, his son Jace. But now we're going to go ahead and get someone on the phone. In Central California, up in Vegas, I believe.
Yeah, so what happened today was we had the World Championships in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in Las Vegas today. And I got friends that, I train at all the schools, and we had a few good friends today. We had Ness. I'm sure everybody knows her by Ness. She's a Camarillo Jiu-Jitsu student. She had a great fight. And then out of our team, our other team we train at is Elite Team Visalia with Tom Knox. And there's you might have heard of the Scrap Packs, the Cisneros brothers, and the older brother, Josh Cisneros, who's a purple belt. Well, he had 5 matches today. He won all 5 matches by submission, took gold, which is no joke. It's really, really something else. So let's see if we can get him right here. I think he's ready to go.
Yeah.
He's also from Selma. And
Yeah,
this
he used to wrestle. Freshman year, he took 8th at state, which is pretty crazy.
this kid is unreal. I rolled one the other night, and I was just blew me away.
Hello?
Joshua Cisneros.
Hey, what's up, Tom?
What's up? We got Tom Owens here. We got Chris Ronquillo. Got Jeremy Luchau from 559 Fights, and we got his son, a buddy of yours. Say hello.
What's up, Josh? It's Jace.
Hey, what's up, Jace?
Hey, man. I'm super proud of you, bro. I watched your matches today, and that was really something else, man. Why don't you talk a little bit about your day today?
It was a good day. Just went out there, performed my best. Just made quick work. That was it.
How many minutes do you think you were out there in all the 5 minutes, or all 5 matches?
Let's see. I would say probably 6 minutes total.
Okay, so what submissions did you get, bro? Break it down for us.
I know, what's it called? I know my first match took quite a while. I was just getting warmed up, getting loose. So that one probably took about 2 minutes. And then I know my second match went by quick. That was probably like 30 seconds to a minute.
What did you tap the first guy with? A gi choke?
The first guy, I got him with a Kimura.
Okay.
I got him with that shoulder lock. And then the second guy, I got that guy with a omoplata.
Nice.
And then the third guy, what did I get him with? I got him with a little, what's it called? I don't know what you call it. It's when they go double unders. You can call it a scissors choke, I guess.
Oh, okay.
And then the last one got him with a little lapel choke, and he put me in half guard.
Very nice. Who was the toughest match of the day?
I would just have to go with the first match because that one took the longest.
The first match. Now, it just kind of looked like maybe you were just kind of getting warmed up, but then all of a sudden you were warmed up and then you were going for it. How'd you feel about going out there? Are you pretty? You look pretty relaxed.
Yeah. What's it called? The guy I don't know, he was checked in, but he was gone for like 30 minutes. They were calling him everything, so I was getting kind of cold.
He was scared, bro.
Yeah, I don't know where he was. He's probably out in the restroom taking a crap, but
He's trying to drop that last pound of weight, bro. Hey, who was
Probably.
who was right there coaching you?
I had Tom, I had Clever.
Okay. Yeah, they did a fantastic job coaching you, man. And
Yeah.
so are you done now? You're gonna be chilling over there?
Yeah, I'm chilling. I'll get back on Saturday night. I'll just be chilling, helping out Coach.
Awesome, bro. I can't wait to get back in there and work with you, man. And congratulations to your team. And I wish you guys the best. And man, dude, just keep doing what you're doing, bro. It's really something else, man. I'm really proud of your family, your dad and your mom, the way that they support you guys with you and your brothers. It's really something to see, bro. And you guys got anything you would like to say?
Just congrats, Josh. That's
Hey, props,
crazy,
man. Keep doing work, buddy.
All
Hey,
right.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Hey, man, go eat a nice meal in Vegas and enjoy yourself, dude, and have a safe trip back.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Josh. Have a good night, brother.
Yeah. All right, you too. Thank you.
He's probably happy. He said nice meal, right?
Oh yeah, Josh is an eater for sure. He's always eating.
Hey, so how's your diet, bro? Like, do you have to cut a lot of weight?
For the most part, I eat like whatever I want, but whenever it's coming down to like a big tournament, I diet. Like next week, I'll be starting my diet. So right now, I'm getting on my last like little cheat meals in. So I'm trying to diet 6 weeks out.
6 weeks out.
Yep.
So what do you eat?
Whatever this guy gives me, really. I mean,
Pretty healthy though. You stay away from fast food and stuff.
I mean, we try to, he's a kid, you know what I mean? So it's like I know there's a lot of dads out there that like force their kid to eat total, like stick to the diet, you know what I mean? I try to give him some options and hopefully he makes some good decisions, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, the real truth is Jace has never ever missed weight. So
His metabolism's probably on fire too, right? That helps.
so for me to over monitor like what he's doing weight wise would be silly, because until the day that he misses weight, then I'll step in and say, hey, this is what you need to be eating. So I don't always approve of the way he may lose weight for certain tournaments, and we'll have that discussion a little bit. But at the end of the day, he always says, I don't miss weight. You know what I mean? That's the one thing that I don't do. You know, he may pay the price afterwards and not compete the best because he cut weight the wrong way, but he always makes weight. So.
But you got it dialed in now pretty good.
yeah, man. I mean, just missing weight is kind of like, I don't know. It's just like for me, like there's something you don't do. Like I don't know. That's just me though. Like I'd rather miss weight. I mean, I'd rather make weight, like cutting the wrong way and wrestle really bad than miss weight and not wrestle at all. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So-
Have you ever had it like that? Will they pull you if you don't make the weight in wrestling? What happens?
I mean, the tournament I had to cut one time. I had to cut like 9 pounds in one night, which is pretty hard for wrestlers because when wrestlers cut weight different, they're cutting all their water weight like last minute, you know. So, I mean, 9 pounds in one night, and then I had to cut like another 1.5 pounds in the morning. So I was out at the venue running outside in Iowa while it was snowing.
yeah.
So I was running. I was like, man, should I stop? I was like, I don't know. Like, I gotta keep going. Like, you know. So like, I waited till the last minute, like when they were calling, like, all right, like final call for weigh-ins. And then I just remember, running, taking all my stuff off, and then went in and I made weight. And then my dad told me after, he was like, man, I wasn't gonna tell you this, but if you would have missed weight, they could have bumped you up. I was like, man, come on. But I mean,
Lessons to learn.
Yeah, no, then that's exactly what it is. Actually that time wasn't his fault. He actually did everything right that time, and he was told he was going to weigh in a day later than what he was supposed to by a coach. And so he was like, oh, well, I can eat this and drink this. So he got bigger, and then it was like, oh, you're traveling all day. By the way, you are weighing in tomorrow. So then he didn't have that day that he thought he had to cut the weight. So
I actually didn't have a whole day. Like, we got there like 10 o'clock. So like, I was cutting weight all night. I didn't get no sleep because I was cutting weight. You know what I mean? So like, it was kind of a bad experience. So, and then I had to wrestle that same day. I weighed in.
Yeah. So he didn't wrestle real well, and
Yeah.
you know.
When you go to these big tournaments, what do you prefer, freestyle or Greco-Roman?
It all just depends. I mean, some tournaments I'll do better in freestyle. Some tournaments I'll do better in Greco. So it's not like I like either or more. It's just like.
Do you have a chance to go at both of these styles when you go to these big tournaments?
Yeah, like usually they'll be like, all right, first 2 days freestyle, the next 2 days Greco.
You'll see a lot of kids, they'll pick or choose a style.
Yeah.
Like, I think for his weight class at World Team Trials this year, you were the only kid, right? You were the only kid to double All-American?
Yeah.
So he was the only kid to double All-American at World Team Trials. So he was the only kid that
I think it was
finished in the top 8.
Also Fargo, I think.
Yeah, and maybe Fargo might have been the same. So he's a kid that always does both. There's some kids that specialize in.
Yeah,
in
some
one
kids
of
will
them.
just do Greco, some will just do freestyle. Like, I'm not a Greco guy, or I'm not a freestyle guy. Like, I'm like, man, just do both. Like,
You
might
feel
as well.
they can play together? Like, they can help each other?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like, when you're in freestyle, you might need a big move. You might need to throw somebody. Like, if you say you're not a Greco guy and you never practice Greco, you're just going to be trying to shoot. The guys know you're trying to shoot, but like, what happens like if like he doesn't think you could throw, then you catch him with a throw and you end up winning the match. So like, it's good to have like you're doing freestyle, like it works on your hips, and Greco like you goes up the body, you use your hips really good. So like they both play out with each other.
So you obviously watch a lot of MMA and you see a lot of the fights. Who's a wrestler that you see in like all, not just UFC but all MMA, that you think has really applied wrestling in a good way? Who's one of your favorites?
Like my favorite fighter ever, or just like favorite wrestler fighter?
Favorite fighter ever, but you know what I mean with who's applied the wrestling?
It's a hard
Because
one.
for me, Randy Couture sticks out big time.
Me-
Like with the
Matt
evolution
Hughes-
of MMA.
Matt Hughes was.
Matt Hughes, big time. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
Because you got to see,
I mean,
see stuff in these holes and
DC
stuff.
uses good wrestling. I mean, I'm not like a really big, like huge fan of DC, but I mean, he uses wrestling pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, whenever Mark Munoz fought, I mean,
Yeah, Mark Munoz.
he was pretty
Kobe
good.
does too.
Tell him about the time you told Mark Munoz you knocked him out on the video game.
Oh yeah. So no, funny story. So we were at Nationals and we had the UFC game, and Mark Munoz happened to be on the trip, and so we were all playing UFC. And he came in the room. He was like, oh, like let me like play or whatever. And he was playing as himself, and then we were playing good stuff, and then one of the guys knocked him out in the game. It was like the funniest thing because he was playing as himself, you know.
Cool. That guy's cool though, man.
Yeah, he's really
chill
really
dude
cool.
right there.
Yeah, for sure.
Did you ever get a chance to go with like rolling with Uriah and those guys?
No, I didn't have the chance. He invited me to, but I was training with Alex for his fight. I
So
didn't get a
now,
chance.
like, what would be your ideal call from a college for a scholarship?
Like a school or just like
School.
really just depends. I'm really more about like the relationship and the money that they're willing to give me. Like I'm not gonna go like if Penn State were to be like, yeah, we'll give you a scholarship but 50%. I'd be like, oh, like yeah, Penn State, they're the best, you know, like they're winning national titles. Or like if like a D2 school called me and like, we'll give you full ride. Like I'd rather take the full ride.
The
you
full
know?
ride?
And if they treat me better than Penn State does, it just depends. Like you know.
What would a full ride consist of?
Just like they pay for everything really. Like
You show up and
Boarding, schooling,
everything.
classes,
Tutors.
all that stuff?
basically, yeah,
books,
just
everything.
as if someone will pay for a lot of my school, like and like everything, just take care of me basically. A school that's gonna take care of me the most. I'd rather go there than get a really bad scholarship to a really really good school. You know, and that's just me. Like
Now, did I see it right? Did you do an MMA fight?
done 2.
You've done 2 in the 559?
Yeah.
Right? How'd that work out?
2-0. My dad says I got beat up my last fight. But
It was questionable in Dad's eyes, but
Yeah.
you won 2. You're
Yeah.
2 wins.
yeah,
He just says always the record book always says win, so that's like.
Did that wrestling come into play right away?
I mean, yeah, like my second fight, I was getting kneed. Like I was getting kneed crazy. I was like, man, I don't know how much more I gotta take of these knees.
Yeah.
And just blast double boosh, like
Yeah.
you know, just Old Faithful. I mean,
Faithful
it was
comes
kind of
through.
hard too, cause like they had a lot of rules. Like if you took him down, you couldn't punch on the ground, or
Yeah.
you can't punch in the face, or like you know, like certain things like that. So like the things I wanted to do, like it was kind of hard, like cause then you gotta think like, oh, I can't punch him in the face, or I can't punch him on the ground. Like I can only do certain things, and then like you're wearing shin pads and like I was a little kid wearing big shin pads and big gloves, and so like
Yeah.
barely my fingers were poking out, so like it was hard to like to grab.
How old were you in the first?
Then a headgear,
12.
too.
12?
Yeah, and then their headgear, they had headgear, something like
Yeah. Yeah.
Gee
little.
whiz, dude. 12 years old?
Wasn't even 100 pounds yet.
Good Lord,
that.
dude.
The first fight was pretty classic wrestling, man.
Yeah.
Because he went and took that kid for a ride. that was awesome, man. Awesome little suit.
So what do you think about like Khabib and Conor? What do you think about that fight?
Oh man, I'm a big Conor McGregor fan. I like watching, like going on YouTube and like watching him fight in slow motion. Like he's so smooth with his technique. Like
And the distance control is
yeah, it's
beautiful.
crazy. But
What do you think though on Khabib if he gets him down with the tie-up?
I don't know. I feel like if they're on their feet, Conor will win. I think Conor will tag him up.
Could knock him out.
Yeah, for sure. But if Khabib,
But
like,
you know how Khabib comes around with that with a one-on-one and then he ties him up and just he
Yeah.
has a leg. It looks like I'm not sure what they call it in wrestling, but he's got a leg ride and he's got the overhook with the one-on-one and then, and they're just open.
like a
They call
Turk, like a Turk.
Yeah.
What is
Yeah.
that called?
It's called a Turk.
Okay, so when he gets in that Turk position, it looks like nobody can get out of it. Right now.
Yeah,
I
man.
don't see Conor getting out of that. I don't see him getting out
I
of
don't
that.
know. Conor's crazy, man.
Yeah, but he did get up out of Chad Mendes.
Yeah.
He did get up off of that. That was pretty slick when he did
Well, the
that.
thing is,
Yeah.
the fights always start on the
What,
feet.
what do you think about
Yeah.
it? What's your heart?
The fight always starts on the feet, right?
Yes.
So, I mean,
He's got
he
lasers.
put Aldo down in like 16 seconds. You know what I mean?
And,
So
and
Yeah.
that piece,
Yeah.
the piece that he put on Eddie.
it's a
know what I mean?
it's a you know, and everyone was always wondering like how's his punching power going to translate to 55, and obviously there's there's no difference.
He knows how to throw it.
You know, and I think on the feet he has a big advantage. I'm not so much worried about like shots per se, but if it gets into the clinch,
Yeah.
then Conor's gonna have problems because
Or later in the fight.
like you were talking about earlier, that Greco and that
Yeah, 'cause
that
once he
clinch,
ties
the
up
clinch
on-
fighting
Well,
is
didn't
way
you
different.
see that Conor? I'm not sure how true it is, but Conor called Jordan Burroughs, which
Yeah,
is
he's got him in the camp right now.
yeah.
No.
Is that guy
was,
legit?
That
That
was
was
false.
false.
Is it?
That'd been
Is
really
bull
cool.
crap?
Yeah, it was false.
But
But that's
that
not
will-
even the right style of wrestling.
Yeah, but still, like Jordan
'Cause that
Burroughs
guy's
is
a
like
freestyle-
one of
Yeah,
the,
he's
one of
a-
the best wrestlers. Though, like,
Yeah.
what is he not gonna know? Like, you're
Yeah.
telling me that guy's never wrestled Greco before? You know
No,
what I mean?
yeah, but
Who could he bring in to help him out for something like that?
What
is
is bringing Jace
Khabib?
Q-Face?
You're bringing me, man.
Yeah, what is
I'm
Khabib
happy.
more though? Is he more Greco or is Khabib more of a Greco or is he more of a freestyle?
Khabib, he takes you down by physically being in the
Yeah,
clinch
he's
and
strong.
in the clinch, and he's taking you down with
Inside
stuff.
trips.
Yeah,
Once he locks
yeah,
up on you.
yeah, all the Russian stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's
And
definitely
AKA wrestling, you got the best guys
Yeah.
out
Yeah.
there that do
And
it.
they're going at it in there too.
Yeah.
They're going at it in there too. All right, so we got one more call in, guys. What else you got going on, man, in life? What's your other hobby, dude,
Man,
besides
just
wrestling?
like to hang out with like my friends. Really, I mean, I'm wrestling a lot, so I mean, my friends are my wrestlers, but like it's hard to like hang out with your friends while you're practicing, you know?
Yeah.
So like it's kind of cool just like to go out and just hang out with my friends and do some kid stuff, you know? I mean,
But your buddies on the outside are pretty much into the same kind of deals. That's good.
yeah, just
That's
my
good.
team basically.
and they all left.
Oh yeah, like a lot.
Not a lot of people are going to stick with something hard like that.
No, they all left. They've all
They've already moved on.
they all graduated high
Ah.
school. Yeah,
Yeah.
There was like 9 of them that were together last year, and they all left.
Yeah, but I mean, we got a good group this year, so
Let's see what we
got a
can do
couple
here.
freshmen.
You know, just talk a little bit about, I know, I can't remember how old you were then or what year. I don't know if it was your first year of high school, that you did play football and then you
Okay,
had that.
here we go.
hiccup with
Is this Ness?
Your ankle?
Is this
That's my
Ness?
7th grade year.
Yeah.
And I broke my ankle.
Hi, Ness. This
that
is
kind
Tom Owens from the MMA Fight Pass. I'm here with Chris Ronquillo. How you doing?
How are you doing?
We're doing great. How you feeling?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good.
Hey, good job on your fight today. Nothing to be ashamed of there. I was able to watch your fight. I thought it was a really, really good match. Why don't you talk a little bit about that for us?
Okay, definitely. Yeah, it was pretty heartbreaking for me, honestly. But things happen, and that's what happened. And I don't know. Okay. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It looked like you were just really relaxed to me, and then about halfway through the match, like you snapped out of it and woke up. Did it feel like that to you?
Well, what was going on, because she had a certain grip on me, so I was just trying to not make a stupid move, and I was pretty relaxed. The thing is that I should have started to attack a lot sooner, or at least do something a little bit different, which I didn't. I was playing her games, which,
She had a really squirmy guard.
Yeah, she did, and the thing is everybody thought she had the diamond on me, and she didn't. She just had a certain grip to where if I were to move a certain way, she had a grip to where it's like a weird underhook. And she was trying to pull my hand in, but
she was fighting for that triangle.
Yes, and then so I had a grip on her pants, and I just played her game, and that's my fault. And Mark did beautifully coaching me.
Yeah, Mark did a really good job coaching you. That was good.
Yes, he did. I just did not hear any of it.
No, I know when
And
you're out
that's
there,
my fault.
it's a daze. But it seemed like at the end of the match, though, if you just would have had 10 more seconds, you had that triangle. You locked her up in a triangle, right? Right at the end.
Yes, I lost
Like you had her.
the triangle.
You had
And
that
I
match.
had the underhook. Yeah, I had the underhook in the leg, and I completely extended her out. So what I did was I locked the triangle, extended the leg all the way out, and that usually, what that does is it folds her up in half, so it's a lot tighter, but time ran out, and I mean, that's what happens, and I was
That is what happens.
Yeah, I was honestly really heartbroken. It was really hard for me to take.
Well, listen to me. Listen to me, sis. Hey, we are all really, really proud of you, and anybody that steps out on those mats like that is a hero to me. You know what I mean? And you didn't let anybody down. If you didn't let anybody down, things like that happen when you go out there on the mat. And I just want to say congratulations, and enjoy the rest of your trip in Vegas. All right, root those other guys on.
No, thank you so much. And you know what? All I gotta say is I gotta thank everybody who's helped me, because I've had many people help me.
Throw some shots out real quick.
If that's okay, I want to thank Mark, because Mark has been there for me since day one.
Mark Dela Cruz.
Really, he is the most amazing, not just a professor, but a friend.
Yep.
Everybody at my gym, I love my teammates. They're awesome. But my friend from Halo, Professor Angel Lopez, has treated me like his own student since I was a blue belt. I've been cross-training there consistently since I was a blue belt. I love everybody there. They're amazing, and I thank him so very much.
Yeah, I love Angel.
Yes, and then Professor Gatch, everybody knows him by Gatch.
Yep.
I love him too. He's awesome. I barely met him, but he has taught me a lot too. There's just so many people. Ralph's house, Coach Mike Moreno. I just can't name them all, because Katie Casada, Mark Casada, everybody from Combat Base, everybody has helped me so much. And each part of any part of my journey, there's been so many people that have helped me. And you know what? That's what matters to me, because the people I have met means more to me than anything. And I just want to thank all of them. And I'm sorry if I let them down. I know they say I didn't, but
Nah, you didn't let anybody
more
down.
for them than I did for me, because they have done so much for me. Everybody, and I'm sure there's people that I'm missing, but I know you're short on time, and I'm sorry if I did miss you. That doesn't mean that you mean any less to me.
Oh no, it's all good.
I'm thankful. I'm incredibly thankful for my jiu-jitsu family, my teammates, and my extended teammates. And
Don't forget Dan
can't thank
Camarillo.
them enough. I'm sorry?
Don't forget Professor Camarillo.
Dan is not even just like my professor. He is like one of my best friends.
That's our
Him
guru
and his
right
wife
there.
have done so much for me. Lovey, thank you. Professor Dan, thank you. Professor Dave Camarillo, thank you. You guys have done a lot for me. Lee from the garage, like all those guys, they have done so much for me. Professor Tango, he's a Tango, he's a professor now.
Yep.
From Lee, ever since I was a blue belt, he would train me in his garage. He's amazing. I love him. Like, there's so many people. Like,
Well, the good thing is,
them now, they've helped me.
the good thing is about you, sis, is you're one of the few people I know that goes around and trains with everybody, and that's really important. But we're short on time. We love you very much, and we're gonna get you on the podcast soon. All right, sis. You have a safe trip in Vegas, and have a safe trip back.
I appreciate that, and thank you so much for the love, man. Like, that's
You're
all
welcome.
I can say. You guys have a good night.
Hey, you too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Right. I need to use a little boys' room, but you guys can keep on conversating there.
Yeah, we talked a little bit, unfortunately, we interrupted a little bit of Tom's discussion there. Talked a little bit about football. You know, Jace, he did play football, but I know you were saying when he was in 7th grade, I remember he had an incident that was pretty brutal, and that kind of set your mind focused right back in wrestling after that, or?
Yeah, so like 7th grade year, I was like I said, I was like a football player. Like,
Yeah.
I was really big with football. I'd probably, like, I don't being cocky or anything, but like, in my opinion, I was probably like one of the better guys on the team, like one of the best guys on the team.
Yeah.
So I remember it was carnival. It wasn't even a game. Like, it was carnival. Like,
Yeah.
just little scrimmage games you do.
Yeah, I'm going that with my grandsons right now. I have
Yeah.
2 of them. They're doing that, and they're like, it's funny because they're both running backs. One's a defensive back. He's 12 and the smallest guy on the team. And had been defensive player of the year 2 times in a row. He's a free safety, and then now the younger brother is a running back, and this is his 2nd year, and he's a linebacker as well. And it's hilarious, you know, and they live on it. And then last year, their cousin Casimir Allen just graduated, so they come from that lineage, and they all go to the same camps. So now these little guys turn. So everybody's looking. We got all the coaches. I said, these guys are just little guys, man. Got high school from Union, Western, Mission Oaks. Everybody's there, you know. But I see it, and you can kind of feel like that. A good friend of mine, Dan, came down a big trip. His boy plays for in Visalia for the Blazers, which is Golden West.
Yeah.
And he's in the senior, so he's 7th grade now.
Yeah.
And he was saying, man, I'm starting center. I go, dude, I played nose guard, man, for 17 years, man. I go, that took me to college, and I got education,
I played nose
man.
guards a couple.
I like that. I
Played
go,
everything.
I go, I love that thing. I go, you just get down like a frog, and just watch his eyes and beat that sucker off that ball. And I guarantee you'll be in every video. Everyone's going to try to stop you.
Yeah.
But no, I told him, I go, it is. I go, that's a backbone. You are the real quarterback of that line. Just work out and do your thing, you know, with your weights and your foot speed, and you're going to go to that next level.
Yeah.
He's a big kid. But no, yeah, that was it. I seen some of those videos when that your dad posted during that time, and I said, shit, you guys got speed. He's got some speed, man.
Yeah.
Following the gaps and going through those whole.
The honest truth is.
And you played too, didn't you?
Yeah, but the honest truth is, I had Jace. Jace wants to play football. He's wanted to play football. And it really didn't even have a whole lot to do with wrestling. Everyone, he kind of knows now that it's not really about wrestling.
Yeah.
Everyone kind of equated it, you know, he just wants Jace to wrestle and stuff. The real truth was Jace played a style of football that was not good for the human body. And it's my fault because I trained him to play football that way, because I came from, you know, the more old school type of outlook about football. Jace was literally a scud missile. And he didn't care how big people were or anything. He ran 100 miles an hour with no fear in his body whatsoever, and he would throw himself into people, no matter how big they were. And as he got into high school, there's no weight limits anymore. There's none of this stuff, and he was still playing the same way. And you know, he didn't know it, but he was getting concussions, you know what I mean? And I could tell he would get up after plays and he'd be kind of walking a little funny and going the wrong, going the wrong way. But he would never say, you know, like, oh man, I messed up, because he just wanted to keep playing football.
Yeah.
And the kid just hit so hard and was such reckless abandon that
Trucking linemen.
yeah,
like
just
that, like,
he would just, you know, he was the kid on the team where it was like, if there was a problem during the game, you would always go find Jace and be like, hey, go light that kid up, and he would go light that kid up, you know. So it was scary for me, as you know, you're watching all this NFL stuff and you're finding out, you know, guys are having CTE and all these things that are, you know, all these things that are wrong with head injuries and
PTSD.
Yeah, and they're talking. They're saying, oh, this goes back all the way, you know, into to youth football from the amount of hits that are happening from
And practice.
It's not like a one big hit. It's continuous amount of blows to the head, and I just didn't want to see my son like eating through a straw. You know what I mean? Because like he said, it's not a cocking thing. It was a scary thing to me to watch him play, because he would try to kill people, and he tried to hit people so hard he'd totally be out of position and blow plays all the time because he was just trying to light everybody up on the field. You know, he's the running back he was the running back that would find people to hit as he was running down the field. He never ran away from. He never ran away from contact. He was running into contact. Yeah. So it was scary for me, and it was hard for him to understand. I think now he's a little more mature, and he knows, like, it's not that my dad didn't want me to play football because of wrestling. It's a total health thing. Is what it was. And I'm sure there's a lot of kids out there, a lot of parents that don't believe in that, and they think football is safe and stuff like that, and all the power to them for whatever they want to believe. I've seen a different science that says otherwise, and I just don't want to see my son, you know, drinking meals through straws for the rest of his life and slurring his words and stuff like that over a game. You know what I mean? You know, that he wasn't gonna play that game and go on to the next level and get a college scholarship from and do all these things. He wasn't going to go to the NFL and make millions of dollars, you know what I mean, risking his life. You know what I mean? So I told him no, you know what I mean? Yeah. You know, it wasn't his decision. It was something that I kind of decided for me.
Now I'm trying to play golf. Gotta find something else to do.
You know, so.
What about jiu-jitsu? You ever mess around with jiu-jitsu?
I've actually gone to the Visalia gym before with Josh a couple times, and
what do you think about that?
it was fun. It's fun until Josh got you in an arm bar and popping your arm out. So, I mean, I liked it, man. I mean, after I'm done wrestling, I want to fight for sure. So
yeah, because wrestlers, man, when they come into the jiu-jitsu game, they learn it. Those are the ones.
Yeah, it's different though, because wrestlers don't like being on their backs, and in jiu-jitsu, like, you get to be totally comfortable with it. Yeah. It's like when I was in there, like, I'm used to wrestling mode. I'm like, I give up my back, and people are like choking me out and stuff, you know. And I'm just like, oh man, like I keep forgetting, like I can't, you know what I mean? Like I'm like,
once you picked it up, though, you'd just be a phenom, I'll bet.
Yeah, you will, Corey. Sure. Javi Vasquez.
Yeah.
Both wrestlers, 17 years, that learned jiu-jitsu. You know, Corey's one, man. That, you look at him, you know the guy was a wrestler, and this guy's
while
probably
you're
one
in
of
the
the
mixed
fierce.
heavy though in the wrestling, maybe later on.
He picked it up, and that's what he said. Put me on my back, man.
Yeah.
He's the smallest guy. I remember in the early days of MMA, I would go, and this kid would always have his pack on his, over a belt over his back, and he'd always wait to see if somebody dropped off a fight to take it. He didn't give it. He didn't care. Mm-hmm. Even like when he fought Joe Stevenson, they put him in there, and they were supposed to fight at 55, and it was in Porterville, and Joe Stevenson had a fight like the night before. And never weighed in.
I remember that night clearly.
And he got Corey on the ground and thought, go ahead. He could never pass
that was
his
when
guards.
Gladiator Challenge.
So he picked him up and hit his head on the thing.
Well, that Gladiator Challenge, that cage, it was actually known that there was one bar on the cage that had the cover, but it didn't have padding, and all of their fighters knew about it. Now, Joe Stevenson purposely picked him up and slammed him right. It sounded like a bat hitting a bar.
Yeah, and he said, I'm done, pay me.
Yeah, he goes, that's it.
He goes, I'm going to go. He'd get knocked out.
Yeah.
He said, I'm not getting it.
Those are crazy days, man.
You just do it again. And then we'll fast forward a little bit. We're sitting there, and I think it was like 3 weeks. He just got done a recovery of ACL surgery. Christian called me up and he says, hey, you think Corey would fight Poppies for the belt? And I asked Corey. Corey goes, well, how much? And he told him. He goes, all right. Went there, 45 seconds, flew the armbar, walked out. He goes, get me out of here. These tribes going to kill me. He took the belt, gave it back to him. Next thing he said, I don't want that.
Those tribal guys are the
After-
coolest guys ever.
Yeah, and the rest was history. Everybody goes, what the hell was that shit? Poppies thought he was pulling out. He mounted him. He knocked him down, hit him on his head. And Corey goes, okay.
That was the
Coming to
old
my
thing.
guard. Coming to his guard. And Poppies goes to pull he had like an underhook or
It's called
something
a
on the
Pluto.
ground.
It's called a
And then
Pluto or the frame
armbar.
gear. It's frame
Yeah.
gear's lock that he made popular.
Yeah,
in
he
UFC.
pulled out. Corey went the reverse way. And the rest is history.
A lot of
Poppies'
crazy
shoulder
stuff,
popped
man.
out. And it
So are
was
you gonna
crazy.
go back in MMA? Maybe later? He looks at his dad right away.
I mean, after
mean,
education.
After
everything.
college, I mean, I'm not sure. Like,
Is it something like it, like a desire though, like you see it? You know what I mean?
I've been telling this guy forever. I've been wanting to fight. Like, I mean, that's probably why. Like when I was little, that's why I fought. Cause I was bugging him about it all the time. Like, I want to fight, I want to fight, I want to fight. Like I'm tired of beating up my sister all the time. You know, like I want to get in there. You know, and then just like, I mean, wrestling kind of like blew up, and like I ended up like.
And man, you're an opportunity that most kids will never ever have with that wrestling.
Yeah, like I'm super grateful. Like I'm
Yeah,
super
man, I mean,
grateful.
I'd take that to the limit. Take that to the limit if I
Yeah,
was you.
for
You could
sure.
always fight later on if it happens.
Yeah, like after
you know?
college, I mean, maybe I want to pursue, maybe trying to go for like to Olympics or something like that. I mean,
Yeah.
if I'm feeling it, like, yeah, like I'll give it a try. But like, I mean, fighting's always there. Like, always something I want to do. I'll always try it. Like, I know for a fact, like, I'm gonna fight one day. You know, so. I mean,
Just push forward on that wrestling as much as you can do, man.
Out of college.
he's not my manager. His partner's my manager. Can't
The
let
thing
this
is,
guy
your
have my
dad has
money.
connections with all the baddest
Oh
dudes
man, you got
around.
one of the
Oh, yeah,
best
for
teams,
sure.
the Southern California man down there in Irvine.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, Coach
And you
Oyama.
worked well with them already. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I've practiced with them one day. I
Yeah.
was like, man, like,
Hey,
I never
out
knew
of
how
MMA
hard it
gyms,
was.
Do you rank Colin's gym up there with some of the best?
I think he's one of the best trainers ever in the world. And
Oh, yeah?
his resume of guys that he's trained kind
It's
of speaks
amazing.
for itself.
back.
And I think for someone like Jace, especially, like, he does really, really well transforming gritty wrestlers like that weren't
Yeah.
like super athletes. He turns them into great athletes with great striking. I mean, there's not a person on the planet. Oh, let's just say this: there's not a person in the valley that knows Alex Perez that ever thought he would land 106 punches in 4 minutes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that-
Let alone throw
yeah,
170. He was called the decision for a reason.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So just to see that transformation in Alex, to where you're like, oh man, like this kid has hands now.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? And I think Colin is amazing. I mean,
He's been around the sport forever.
yeah, and Jason's, I mean, you know, Jason's wrestling team, every year we go to a tournament down in Southern California called 5 Counties.
5 Counties.
Yeah, and we stop at Colin's gym and we train there. It's the boys cut weight there. I mean, he's you know, and Jason's been down there to train with Alex and those guys. So I mean, obviously that would be the number one place I probably want him to go. You know what I mean? I think he would do great with somebody like Jace. Jace is a lot like Alex. You know what I mean? So I could see that fitting in, being a great fit for him. I mean, I don't want Jace to fight. You know what I mean?
I totally understand.
But I mean, he's 6 months away from me not being able to tell him very much
Right.
what to do anymore. I mean, he's gonna be 18 years old, and he's gonna.
Yeah.
All I can pray at this point is that, you know, everything that he's learned through he's had a lot of dad figures in his life. You know what I mean? A lot, like, you know.
There's nothing wrong with that as long as it's positive.
Yeah, he's had he's had the Joey Arianos, the Rob Sepulvedas, Jeff Estrada's, you know what I mean? Even Coach Colin, you know what I mean?
Bill Mitchell.
Bill Mitchell. He's had a lot of great male role models in his life that have come in and kind of help guide him and
Mott's.
Oh yeah, Mott's, you know what I mean? Hopefully he makes good decisions. I mean, this recruiting process is, you know, for Jace it's hard, man. Like, because Jace does not want to be on the phone talking to people and texting, and he's not like that. And I try to tell that to these coaches, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
he really wants to just wrestle, you know what I mean? And
Be out there on the
you
mat.
know, you heard kind of the stuff he talked about, what was important to him. You know, nowhere did it say wrestling room or big football games or, you know, fancy things. Like, he doesn't care about things like that. You know, he rolls out mats every day to wrestle on. You know, so any wrestling room in the country is going to be an upgrade for him, right? You know what I mean? Like you know, these guys have been doing it for what, 50 years? 50 years of wrestling, no wrestling room.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They've been rolling out mats for 50 years. One of the best programs in the state of California, and these kids don't have a wrestling room. They spend an hour worth of practice every day of their practice time, rolling out, cleaning, mopping, and then putting away wrestling mats.
Practice, then have to roll them up again.
What's
Yeah.
the deal with this? Someone doesn't get behind it?
I don't know. It's the correct.
It's weird, man. Like sometimes they'll support wrestling, and then sometimes they won't. Like, we'll win Valley, and the basketball team will like lose, and they'll be like, "Congratulations to the basketball team," you know.
For taking second.
Yeah, for taking second. And like to us, that's kind of like just like what do you do? Like, we won Valley for like the 30th time straight. Like, come on, like show us some love, you know.
Yeah, that's.
Those guys have never.
We're getting a whole brand new stadium. Like, you can't get us the wrestling room. You know,
Seriously.
like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Not like trying to hate on Salmo, but like
Yeah.
show us some love.
No,
you know?
it's true. I remember that.
But it
one
builds
year.
character. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
At the same
Heck
time.
yeah.
At the same
You never
time.
forget where you come from. You know?
Yeah. At the same time.
We did an episode at Joe Soto's gym, and man, and it's just a little, you've probably been there, it's just a little
Yeah.
hole in the wall gym, but I will tell you what, those dudes that were in there were killers, and they were
Yeah.
training hard, and not too many people I think will hang too long.
Yeah.
So you're gonna get some gyms in little places like that.
Yeah.
The work
So
is
probably
hard.
the best work. Too.
Yeah.
Oh, it was great.
The
It was
Tiger
great.
type of gyms, man.
Man.
Yeah, you get
So
them
it's a fun process. We're gonna have them take all the visits and go visit
Yeah.
go visit schools and enjoy that part of it. But at the end of the day, Jason's gonna go someplace where him and the coach form a bond, because
I
that's
think
what's
Corey
awesome.
Cass sent in a text, he must have heard you talking about his arm.
Yeah,
lock.
there's a fight, it's what everyone's got.
Let's see what it said. Let's see
Doing
what
that kind of stuff. Go with the one that have the best.
Look at
from the fraternity. From the
Chris's
sport.
details were pretty close. I will be there on September 20th and can come sit down and tell the full story.
Yeah.
That's Corey Cass. Hell yeah.
Casper. Oh yeah, that actually I did get your gift out there in the mailbox. I have posters for the upcoming grappling next.
Hey, we got some cool things coming up, guys, too.
Yeah.
We just shot our second episode of Inside the Dojo. If you guys can go back and look at it on MMA Fight Pass. And on our YouTube channel, we hit Elite Team. It was awesome. And then we just hit Joe Soto's gym. This next Monday, we're going to one of my heroes and legends in jiu-jitsu. We're going to go to Dan Camarillo's gym. We're going to be there, and then I believe the following weekend we're going to hit Vitruvian. Well, we're planning on hitting them all. So if you're a gym and you want to get some footage, you know what I mean, and choke me out and arm lock me and toss me around, you can choke out Archie too. And yeah, it's going to be fun, man. So stay tuned.
Yeah. I call him the Anaconda, but I think we're going to christen him tonight the Snoop Dogg of jiu-jitsu.
Dog, that's a new name. There. I was going to let this guy slam me around, but I'll pass.
Man,
Yeah.
It happened
Hey,
to me once. It's not
God bless everybody for watching us, man.
thank you.
Appreciate
Pass
it.
it on.
Big shout out to Spike and Rail, the project here, and his
Follow
son
these
Jace,
guys.
man. Hey, continue your journey, my boy.
Thank you.
God bless you, man.
Appreciate
and
it.
keep
Heck
the
yeah,
faith
dude.
and the best you.
Thank you, Jeremy.
All the way, man. Keep doing work,
Thank
man.
you. Appreciate
Proud
it.
of you. And appreciate everybody that tunes in. Continue to support the sport.
Hey,
Spike
don't
and
forget
Rail,
about Spike
We're gonna
and
go
Rail.
ahead and say it again and tell them what they get if they mention.
You know
it
what,
on the
dude?
podcast.
Just listen. I know some of you dudes, you think you can barbecue, but the bottom line is you can't. You want to bring your wife in for a good meal, or maybe your family, or maybe you can barbecue, but you just want to chill. Hey, this place is bomb. They got a ribeye with a whiskey sauce you could throw up on there. You don't want that. You could get a salmon. You could get a nice salad if you're a vegan or whatever. Hey, the bartenders are beautiful.
They got good bread with butter.
Ooh.
Yeah, they do.
That's my favorite.
They got a lot of good stuff here, and the people are super cool. And they're going to give you a discount if you mention the podcast. So come in here.
And Coach Joey will serve you.
Yeah.
My coach, my wrestling coach will serve you. Ask for butter, even if you have some. Just ask for it. I always do that to him.
And there won't be no DNA or hair in your food.
Yeah, for sure.
Thanks for tuning in, man.
Love you guys.
See you next week. Bye.
Yeah.
All right, good show. That was
All right,
good.
we got to get a good picture. All right.